Hello and welcome. We begin today in South Africa, where two separate investigations have uncovered a disturbing pattern linked to the war in Ukraine. Authorities say young South African men are being lured with promises of jobs and security training, but in reality, they are being drawn into mercenary networks operating around the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The first case centres on Nonkululeko Mantula. She is a 39-year-old radio presenter with a state broadcaster SAMF. Prosecutors say she helped facilitate the travel and recruitment of 4 men, a process that would have put them in breach of South Africa's law against joining any foreign military without permission. Mantula and the 4 men were arrested together and appeared in court yesterday. South African police say 3 of the men were stopped at the airport. They were trying to fly to Russia through the United Arab Emirates. A 5th man, believed to be recruited by Mantula as well, has already made it to Russia. Investigators say the men were promised travel, training and eventual employment. In reality, they were heading towards combat zones in eastern Ukraine. Under South African law, it is a crime to fight for a foreign military without government approval. All 5 suspects will remain in custody until their bail hearing next week. But this is only half of the story. There's another case, and it has triggered alarms at the highest level of politics. This one involves Duduzile Zuma, daughter of former President Jacob Zuma. She resigned from Parliament last week. She had been serving in the MK party since June 2024. Now authorities say she and others are suspected of tricking 17 South African men into travelling to Russia last month. They were told they would get security training that could lead to jobs. Instead, they ended up with a Russian mercenary group in eastern Ukraine. An affidavit filed by her half-sister claims 8 of those 17 men were relatives. The South African government says the men made distress calls to them from eastern Ukraine. They said they were trapped in the Donbas region with no way out. Their phones were taken, their passports and clothes were burned. The men believed they were going abroad for work, but ended up in a war. Duduzile's party denies any such allegations. They say her resignation has nothing to do with an admission of guilt.
Regarding the much publicized matter of young South Africans who are reportedly involved in combat military action in Ukraine, the national officials have accepted Comrade Duduzile Zuma's Hambudla's decision to resign.
She has requested that she be recused from responsibilities and focus in cooperating fully with all organs of the state who want to find the truth and return those South Africans safe.
President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered a full investigation. The presidency said it is working through diplomatic channels to bring those men back. South Africa says it remains non-aligned in the war with ties to both Kyiv and Moscow. But they have repeatedly warned citizens about online job offers in Russia that may be covers for mercenary recruitment. This pattern is global and not unique to just South Africa. Ethiopia, Zambia, the Central African Republic, Tanzania and Togo have all reported similar cases of their citizens being recruited into Russian-linked groups. Kenya, India and Nepal also say their citizens were deceived with promises of work, only to be sent towards the front lines. Even Americans have appeared in these investigations. One case involves Michael Gloss, son of a serving CIA deputy director, killed while fighting for a Russian mercenary unit. For now, South Africa is pursuing both a criminal and diplomatic response, while the families of those 17 men wait for their return.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.